Alright, take 3. Hello and welcome to another video by the Casual NFL Fan. Same name on Twitter and Blue Sky. Like and subscribe, blah blah blah. Today gonna be watching Landon Jackson from Arkansas, or Arkansas, however you want to say it, versus Will Campbell. Gonna talk a bit about pass rushing and how I look at players and stuff, and about Landon Jackson, of course. Yeah, interesting stuff. His basic scouting report, if you want one: big, strong, fluid for his size, decent mover, boom. And he likes to spam a cross chop, which, sure. So, with pass rushing, what usually happens is you get a one-on-one set up, and yeah, you just win that one-on-one. But in the NFL level, though, it's harder to set up one-on-ones, or I should say, usually guys that get one-on-ones are generally the higher-end players, and generally the higher-end players are elite athletes. They're elite athletes among the elite athletes. So I don't really care too much about winning one-on-ones or pass rushing from the college level, because if you could win more technically, that doesn't translate as much as winning more with traits, because tackles set better. So it's like, how are you going to force a tackle into bad positions? And now you could win technically, and like even like the high-end players do win technically. It's just more that they could force tackles more into bad positions with their traits, like being a fast guy, forcing tackles that have to overset, work inside, being a power guy, driving a tackle back into the QB, just stuff like that, where it's like you need higher end traits for that. And for the technical guys, the technical guys that don't have high end traits or are like low end athletes, it's harder to get playing time, and it's more inconsistent with their stats and playing time because it's just harder to get them to play. It's harder to set up one-on-ones because it's like, alright, we can't really trust you to force tackle in the bad spots. And not only that, but if this guy gets a one-on-one, the other guys are usually containing or doing some sort of that stuff. And the other edge becomes like a role player, where he's either going to be maybe speed rushing or one gapping, however you want to say it, pushing the pocket, bull rushing, containing here, dropping in coverage, crashing on a stunt, looping on a stunt. And so for a lot of that stuff, you do need high-end traits to do that. That's why, to me, trait scouting, best way to go. Just look at traits and you'll be good for the edge spot. Because guys do develop technically as a pass rusher, but a lot of what they do, especially the higher end edges, usually it's just like two moves. Like, oh, here's my main move, and then maybe a setup off of it. Like, say Crosby does a double swipe, or he spins. That's all he does, and it works because he's an elite athlete among elite athletes. So yeah, gotta have a different view, because the college game isn't translatable, since, well, guys that you play generally aren't going to be close to the talent you play at the next level, and just the way they're taught to, which goes both ways. Like, guys usually play in ways that they won't play at the next level, and then tackles aren't going to be super high-end technicians. So like, most tackles in the college game just quick set, or they jump set you, and they usually just do a double punch. That's like all they do. It's like quick set, double punch, boom. And so that's why, if you are a technical winner in a college level, you tend to get higher stats and more wins and all that stuff, just because it's like, oh, you get hands in your chest now, knock them away, and you win. And so yeah, it's harder to like win in forcing ways because of stuff like that. And so you can't just look at wins, and I mean, that's why like some of the technical guys, like, you just need traits to be able to play and to be able to do early down stuff. That's also why size matters, because if you do early down stuff, you get more opportunities to win technically, because you don't really see quick sets or jump sets unless it's like play action or early down, where you get quick game stuff. So yeah, that's where winning technically matters more. But besides that, Let's watch him Landon Jackson. Look at him go. It's not even a good rep, but it doesn't matter because he's big and strong. I don't think he's that long, but moves well. Get that rep. Alright. Get into it. Let's go, Landon. Oh yeah, and so when watching players too, one thing to keep in mind is just kind of like look at what's going on. So looks like a run play to him because he's reading attack with shoulder as a 5 tech. Usually your technique just says what shoulder you're reading. So like here, 3 tech reading the outside shoulder of the guard. You can say he's a 2Y because he's reading the inside shoulder of the guard. Stuff like that. So for Jackson here, it's a run read. It looks like a hinge block for outside zone or inside zone. Looks like a hinge block, so play a run first and then pass rush, but it's early down, so balls out quick. But just look at, like, when you look at players, you can't just be too focused on this part. You have to look at the whole play. You have a better idea of what's going on and what they're doing. Now here, yeah, cross chop. So with cross chops, the reason why it works so well is because of a lot of guys just do double punches and they usually punch a bit lower. So you chop the hands down, you're gonna start leaning, you club them, rip, and you turn a corner and win. In the NFL, usually bigger guys, heavier guys do cross chops, like Michael Holt from the Rams, John Franklin Myers from the Broncos, Michael Clemens on the Jets, Nico Autry, just guys like that where they're bigger, heavier ends. And so, yeah, just cross chop kings. Because you're bigger and taller, what happens is when guys double punch, usually they're lower than you, so the hands are low. So you chop it down, which forces them to stop their feet because they're getting chopped down, lean forward, you club their outside shoulder, and then you rip through or swim, whatever. Usually rip through. That way you could clear their arms and make it harder for them to recover. So here, like, this would be a good example where this was play action or RPO or whatever, because he's getting more like it's more like a drive block, but hands in his chest now, knock it down, club, turn a corner. Yeah, doesn't fully flip his hips. And so when moves or any type of pass rushing moves, right when you hit it, like right as you finish it is when you should be flipping your hips. So when you chop and you hit that club, right when you hit the club is when you flip your hips and run through. Oh, and another thing too is I don't care about bend unless you're smaller. Because bend's more of a recovery, or not recovery. Bend's more of a tool to use to help you turn a corner. But it's when you're more like bending into the guy. Whereas if you're bigger, you don't really need bend. You could just run through the contact versus needing to bend around it. Yeah. And then here, usually with the cross chop, it's 2 or 4 steps. It's 1, 2, and you take a jab or crossover or hezzy step, however you want to say it, or 1, 2, 3 jab step. Usually, that's how it is. Not going to count the fall step, so it's like 1, 2. It's 2 double underhand punches. Chops it down, tries to club around it, but the main thing with a lot of like hand fighting stuff at the edge spot is you want separation. So because Campbell's setting to him and his jab step doesn't push him away far enough, now he's even. Or you want to push yourself almost to a bit more outside of him. I don't want to say like half of him, but a bit outside of half of Campbell. That way when you knock his hands down, he can't lean against you and push you outside the arc of the pass rush. That's a huge thing too, just getting separation. Oh, and another thing too is like with chips and releases. Here, tight end releases inside, running back releases outside, but bumps into Jackson. So with outside releases, it slows down your pass rush. Just because you can't just like tee off because you're just gonna run into the running back. You Gotta avoid him. Alright, let's go LJ. Wink. So one thing that Jackson does do sometimes is a double swipe. So here what he does is when he cross chops, he brings his arm down and he loops it all the way around. So he does that because when he jab steps, he almost flashes his hand, make you shoot your hands, and he throws it all the way around to chop you down. Just to help get like some more momentum and to get you to shoot your hands first, and then he chops it down. But sometimes he'll throw a double swipe where he sometimes will fake that and then bring it the other way. So here you kind of get that, where he looks like he's gonna do his cross chop, but then he brings his hand down and double swipes. Boink. Yeah, flips hips, but Campbell's in a good spot. Pretty strong punch by Campbell too. So like he mistimes it because you ideally want to swipe away before he punches you, otherwise you get this jolt back and it slows you down. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, cross chop season. Yeah, this is part of it. Second and 8, they're all playing for a run because it's red zone college, and so with this, you just see him go. Pattern releases outside, should slow you down. Once he gets to this step, you can see how he's almost a bit even. It's kind of more like here. It's a bit more like halfway. And he pushes himself out far enough to create separation, times it good. And it's just hard to recover. And so, looks like, how did I say this? So with cross chops, it's better for bigger guys because you're faking power, or should be faking power. When you get off the ball, shoulders are squared. You take your jab step to act like you're getting a bull rush or long arm or whatever. And for the tackle, they anchor down, double punch. That's how you stop power usually. And so when they do anchor down and try to throw that double punch, that's when you jab step, drop it down, club, boom, turn a corner. So I think because the tight end's inside, he might be thinking like, oh, he's squared, he's gonna use power. So now I'm gonna double punch. But then Jackson hits his jab step, flashes his hands right here, flashes his hands, and then he hits the cross chop, gets him to shoot his hands, knock it down, chop it down, club, rip through. And because he's winning at this point, starting to flip his hips, at this point it's hard for Campbell to recover. And yeah, that's why big guys like this, because if you hit it good, there's just no way for the tackle to recover in such a bad position. Alright, he's gonna do it again. Oh yeah, he's a cross chop king. Yeah, kind of a similar thing where gets upfield, 1st and 15, and once he hits this step, he's a bit more square. And this one isn't as good because he's hitting it almost too tightly. What makes it work is he pushes himself away so far. So right after he hits his jab step, he gets super high and away, where when he does hit the cross chop, now he's like shoulder to shoulder, which is where you want to be. Makes it easier to turn the corner. Like you want that separation versus being too tight or too close. In the corner, QB hit. Nice. Yeah, pass rushing easy. Now here, Campbell's fine. Campbell's setting good. When he hits his jab step, you see that Campbell's oversetting a bit because he has inside help. His feet are close together. And this is the annoying thing about college. It's like, could you bull rush him? Please? Like, this is a perfect spot to bull rush him, but I mean, in the college level, you don't see a ton of power rushing or bull rushes because it's just the nature of the game. Because you're getting quick sets and jump sets, it's just hard to because guys are just gonna anchor down right away. And some teams, especially in like the SEC, like Bama or Georgia, they just have fat tackles, or Tennessee too, like fat tackles who just quicksand jump sets, so you can't really bull rush them because it's like, oh, that's what they want. They want you to go in their chest and they'll just hug you tightly, shut you down. So you get that. And it's why it would be nice if guys could power rush more. A lot of times they do it just accidentally. And it's harder to teach because if you teach a guy to bull rush, he might just do it all the time. He's like, oh, it worked once, I'm gonna keep doing it. And it happens. Like, that's probably what happened with Landon Jackson. Like, he did the cross chop once, it worked. He's like, alright, this is my move now. And so yeah, he's just spamming it. Doesn't give a good jab step. Doesn't push himself far and away. His Campbell's oversetting. Now he's stuck. Show us something, Aljam. And this is the part of no separation, where he's hitting his jab step, but now he's more even. He's not getting himself wide far enough. So when he does hit that chop, instead of knocking Campbell over, now he's just knocking Campbell into him. So it's like, cool, now you're just, yeah, he's just hugging you. Great. Jab step, cross chop, boom, nothing. It's shut down. There's not enough separation, or when you hit that chop to force the tackle to lean over. I think this is a power. Oh, I know, never mind. Double swipe, but not bad. A little change up. So, kind of like what I said earlier, where he almost brings his hand down, so he could loop it all the way around to chop you down. He brings it down here, forces Campbell, double punch, and then he hits a swipe. And it's not bad, he's just a bit late on it because of that, flashing his hands a bit, making the cross chop. So Campbell gets a good punch. Like instead of, let's say here, wait. So being able to turn a corner here, now he's like out here. Just a bit wider, just changes the arc. Just because Campbell gets his punch in. Which if you're gonna win more with hand fighting, you just can't miss. Oh, and here we go. Let's go. Look at Jackson using power. He's trying to bull rush. Get a long arm in. Just pull him through and swim inside. And it sucks though, because it's like, at the next level, he is gonna be more of a power rusher who can use a cross chop on like early downs and stuff. Maybe I just can't see him being a guy that you set things up for, but like he won't be able to use a cross chop as much. And it's kind of why it takes a bit to translate to the NFL, because it's like, oh, you never use power, when with the way you project you should be more of a power rusher. It takes you like a year or two to get used to it. But it takes time to break these habits. But here, boom. And the thing too is like, it's not even like a good power move. He gets his long arm in, but he's driving him back. So because he's driving him back, Campbell could just anchor down against it. Because if your weight's going back, it's like, cool, I just anchored down, boom, I'm good. Whereas if you drive it more up and away, it's harder to anchor down because your weight's going up. You're getting driven back up, gonna be more on your toes, so it's harder to get down unless you just like throw yourself down or something. But here, Campbell's fine. He just doesn't have the inside anymore, because Jackson just pulls him through, works inside, but loses inside. And just spamming cross. It's like, dude, like that bull rush, that power move worked. Just use it again. Just please. And another reason is because of contain. Like a lot of time has C gap. They don't really want to just bull rush and lose the outside, which I get, but yeah, it's a college game. I'm not gonna teach you how to contain with power. Same issue. where when he hits his jab step, he's way too far inside, so he can't push himself outside of Campbell's frame. So now this cross chop does nothing. It's pancake. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing in this play. Cause he's not really taking a big jab step. I don't know if he just like realizes he lost like here, or I don't know. I'm guessing he's containing because it just looks so half-assed. Either giving the other guy, letting him try to win, with Jackson containing. Who knows? There's a little bit of guesswork with who's getting one-on-ones and what guys are allowed to do. Alright, overloading this side, dropping these two dudes, 4 slides here. Get you a one-on-one. Ideally, but guard isn't out here long enough. Yeah, just the same issue where I think because it's a passing down, 3rd and 9. I think Jackson's trying to tee off, so he flies upfield. Not counting the fall step. He's flying upfield. 1, 2, jab step. He's in a good spot. But the main issue is when he pushes himself, he's not pushing himself outside of Campbell's frame, he pushes himself into Campbell. And they bump heads. Boom. CTE. Right there. And now there's no separation, you lose. Which I don't care too much about wins and losses in reps. Like, whatever, you'll get better. This one's not that bad either. 3-man rush. Trying to get some pressure, pushing the pocket. His job's more to contain. That's why he's spamming cross chops. Like this one's kind of same thing, half-assed, where because the jab step, Campbell's already way too far outside. So now what Jackson tries to do is almost use a hump move, gets his hand caught up, gets it inside of Campbell's shoulder plate, and tries to just drive him away. He does drive him back a little bit. Like Jackson should have more power and should play more powerful, it's just that he doesn't. But it's not his fault, which is the thing to remember. It's just how things are taught and stuff, so gotta project. Here kind of the same thing, where red zone, ball's gonna be out quick. Generally it's out quick. Gotta try to win quickly. Here, trying to fake power, stab, club, or stab chop. However you want to say it. Yeah. I mean, he's a C-gap player, containing. Trying to run a stunt on the other side. Okay. 3-man rushes. Let's go. Look at Jackson go. Like, he just moves well for his size. Nothing crazy. And then here, bringing like a nickel or cornerback blitz, along with the linebacker. So because of that, C-gap player has to contain, but Jackson sees a lot of space. It's like, alright, if I get space, QB's looking away, let me just take it, make a play. It works inside, but because they bring a full slide, Campbell has inside help, even though, yeah. I mean, Campbell kind of like, it's funny, like he turns very quickly and he loses his inside leg a lot, where it's like guys should be able to win inside of him a bit more, which they do. Depends on the game you watch. It's just a weird issue. But yeah, loses his inside leg, work inside, but whatever. Has slide help. Alright, Campbell. Ooh. So what happens here? Jab step. Put himself far away enough, but same issue. Or when he hits his jab step, inside feet are even. He gets enough separation, pushing himself away from the frame of Campbell. That's why it almost works. But just close enough to where Campbell can recover well enough. Oh, this is the last play. This one. So you set in the edge, C-gap player. He legit trips the running back. Like, look at this. That's blatant tripping. and it doesn't even get called. That's so messed up. But yeah, neat watches. Pretty nice. Campbell, I mean, yeah, Campbell's fine, but Jackson, neat player. I guess to add more to like a scouting report or whatever, I think he's more like a day 2 guy, where he could be an early down guy that plays heavy snaps by doing a lot of rolls. Like he's gonna be a solid run defender because of his size and strength. He could be or should be a decent crasher on stunts, can loop, okay. Should be a better power rusher and pocket pusher, but part of it's projection, which, yeah. What else? I think that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this video. See y'all next time. Peace.